First of all, I got to say, I am a huge fan of the Candyman. I love the original, but your version is amazing.
Thank
it's
you
one of
so
our
much.
favorite movies at our house. I just had to let you know that.
Oh, thank you so much.
First question I have for you is, can you talk about the theme of chosen family in the Marvels?
For sure. It was really important to me that was central to the film, because one of the big things I wanted to explore was Carol and how it actually feels to be someone who feels like you have the universe on your shoulders. And I think something that she's forgotten when we meet her is like why she's out there, why she's doing it. And it's not just for the people she helps; it's also for to make the universe safe for her family, her chosen family, which is Monica and Maria, although she's unfortunately passed. And I think you see the Khan family. And they sort of are like the beating heart of the film, but they're sort of a representation of what Monica and Carol can have. And then these three characters together, these three women at the center of the film, they choose each other. Even though initially they're like, why are we together like this? This is crazy, all the switching. But I think that's such an important thing in all of our lives, chosen family. And I really wanted to represent that in this film.
That is incredible. Now, you co-wrote and directed this film, and since this is a sequel for multiple characters, and also leads to an Avengers movie, did you have to kind of hit specific points for each character to kind of set up their next story for this film?
Yes, but it felt really organic.
Gotcha.
Like it didn't feel like we were doing like a checklist.
Right.
It felt, and also, Marvel's done this for so long. You kind of just put a lot of trust into them and what they want to see, and I don't necessarily even know what's going to happen next for all these characters. But yeah, it was very organic. It's like, okay, I know what I wanted to see for them through the process or through the course of the film, but where they end up is actually so exciting.
I'm excited.
I think we have I think it's great.
Now, you talked to a bunch of other Marvel directors prior to taking on this project. What was some of the best advice you were given to help you prepare for your entry into the MCU? I
say this a lot, but Ryan Coogler said, be yourself. And I thought that was great advice. I mean, at the time I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Be myself. But, he was absolutely right. It's like, I'm the person I am, the filmmaker I am, and that's what I have to bring to the table. So don't dilute it. Just really be yourself. And so that was really helpful.
Now, the tone of this film seems really, really fun. Can you talk about other movies that helped inspire the visual look or maybe the thematic themes in the Marvels?
Oof. It's so interesting because it's so specific to Marvel, and also it has so many specific things happening, and we have these characters coming together. It has a really unique tone, I think. But there are films that I really love that I thought about when thinking about this film. So like inside the MCU, Guardians as a film that brings these disparate characters together, I really love. I love how funny it is and how heartfelt it is. And I'm a big fan of James's work anyway, inside and outside the MCU. So that was inspiring to me. And then films like Interstellar, where I love space and I love seeing space on film. And I thought what Nolan did with that, it was just beautiful. Advent Children, the Final Fantasy film.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's so good. And so, the fight in the church, and also that ending scene where they're throwing Cloud up into the sky, like all the characters, so he can fight the big bad. Those were two scenes that I referenced in my pitch, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There were so many random things. Lawrence of Arabia was a big reference, but I think things shifted a bit, so that reference part is no longer in the film. But yeah. Now,
Carol, I know that you're a big comic book fan. So am I. And Carol has a long history with the creatures called the Brood.
Yes.
Is at any point did you have the Brood included in this film, or are there any other characters that you would like to have included but couldn't for either story purposes or timing purposes?
They were never included in this film. However, I talked to Kevin about the Brood as much as I possibly can.
Yes.
I love the Brood. I love that X-Men run. I love, I just think they're so cool. I love the horror element of it.
Yes.
I think they're such a weird, interesting alien race. There's so much. If I could have gone balls to the wall with this, I mean, would have been people that made no sense in the movie. I would have been like this and that and this, I was telling someone earlier, one of my initial pitches involved Adam Warlock and time travel. But Adam's, in Guardians 3, so that wasn't ever going to work. But, I had a lot of, deep pulls from the comics I wanted to do.
That's incredible. I literally have X-Men socks on now.
I love it. Oh, yes. Animated series.
Animated series. I do have a question for you. I was checking out the production notes, and I noticed that I saw something that was in reference to X2 and Days of Future Past in the music. Was that a musical cue for Kamala Khan, or is that something else we get to explore in the Marvels having to do with said X-Men?
Oh, interesting. Well, yeah. So in the show, Although no, that was the animated series.
It was the
little
animated
riff that
series
they used in the
theme,
show. Oh, this must have been Laura being inspired by that. Yeah. Well, I love X-Men 2. I think it's one of the best superhero movies of all time. It's really special and has a very big place in my heart. But I didn't consciously reference the music for that. But I think Laura maybe was inspired in that way.
Amazing. Well, look, I cannot wait to see this movie.
Oh,
thank you so much for your time. I
No,
appreciate
thank you.
it. You're amazing.